Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be here because today I'm gonna tell you about my books which I read in December. I remember that I didn't tell you about things and books which I did and read in December, and I decided to make it today because it's time. So it's the January of 2025, so let's talk about December books. I want to tell you that in December I was on vacation. It was a perfect time in Paris. I spent a lot of time walking, eating, just breathing the atmosphere and the air of Paris, and visiting a lot of museums and things. Watching there was really perfect for me, and I read not a lot of books. So today I'm gonna tell you just about 4 books which I read. And for me it's so sad to understand that I read only 4 books in December, because most of the time the minimum which I read in a month is 6 or 7 books, and they are really different in genres. So today I will tell you about stories which were really great, but one book I read not in English, and I actually don't know do we have the English translation or not, but it was a wonderful thriller and I want to tell you about it just at the end of the video. So let's start today with my favorite author. In my heart, only him and his books. It's Stephen King and his Billy Summers. I read Stephen King's books by list, how he published them, but I decided that I want to read something new, and understood that Billy Summers is not connect with the Dark Tower series, it's not connect with other books, and just I understood that I can read it now, and it would be wonderful things for understanding how I think myself, how I feel myself when I read Stephen King's book which he wrote in our time, because a lot of people and fans said that his old books are really cool and better than the newest. I want to tell you that Billy Summers is a perfect book for reading, but it's not the wonderful story for meeting and beginning meeting with the author's books, because this story for me was more written for men, because I actually don't like to say that we have literature for women and men, but this story was exactly like this one. The story connects with the life of a killer, Billy Summers, who decided just to retire, but after the last case which he need to do, last offer, and this offer is really strange because he need to go to a small town somewhere nowhere, and he need to do the job, but actually he doesn't know when he would do it, why he do it, because for me the motive of the killing the person which he must kill was a bit strange, not fully written for myself. I didn't catch the meaning. Of course, he is the wonderful killer, he's a hero because he doesn't want to kill wonderful people, good people, nice people. He just do his job with the bad people, with other killers, criminals, bandits, and so on. And of course, this man in his last offer is the bad person. He did bad things, and when he understood and he saw from the people who just make him this offer, he understood that yeah, this person is bad and he will do this and then retire, because for this case he will have a lot of money, and he started to think that okay, it's wonderful, I need money, because he just doesn't want to do other things, he doesn't want to work, and for him it was a really perfect idea. And all the story we see how Billy Summers just live in this small town, his relationship with neighborhood, the things which connect with his house, with the office, because people who decided to make him an offer, they make a story for him that he's a writer, he's just a beginner, and he decided to come to the small town for atmosphere, for writing his novel, which would connect with something. And I like that Billy Summers, he is not a person who just play a role, because as we can understand, he also wanted to be a writer. He loved books. We have a lot of things which he say about books, which books he read in the story during some deals which he did. And I really love that he is a person who is really have motivation in the writing. And the first time he of course started to have fun in writing, but then he understood that yeah, it's a really perfect thing for him because it was his dream and he feel himself so comfortable in writing. And that's it. Actually, all the story, as always, in Stephen King's books, told us about small town people, style of living, atmosphere, the main character who wanted to do something, his ideas, his dreams, his some bad things which can happen with him, some circumstances, some other moments which just can happen with every person on the planet. And I love the books of Stephen King because of this one, because it's so realistic, because it's so sometimes naive. Most of the time it's so hard because of our life is not so simple thing actually. So I love the story for this one, but actually I don't like when in the story we start to have other character who also started to be a main part in Willie Summers' life, in his moment to be in this city. I really was confused in some moments because most of the time I didn't feel that it's truly it can happen in reality, and it was most of the time like, okay, it's something from the superheroes film, something like that, because most of the time it was so easy for Billy Summers to do something, but actually I think in reality it wouldn't be so easy, it would be more harder. But anyway, I put the story 4 stars. It's a really cool story. I'm really happy that I meet with the story and I meet with my favorite author who continue writing now in our time, so it was really cool. Another story which I want to tell you today, it's the second part of the series, and it was Stephanie Meyer and Archenemies. It's the second part of the series I told you, and actually I continue to love these stories. And I actually didn't expect that I will like them, because most of the time I like detective thrillers, I like fantasy, but most of the time young adult fantasy is not my cup of tea, and I feel uncomfortable there, I feel some disappointing, and a lot of not wonderful things which connect with my emotional level. But this story is really interesting, maybe because it's connected with superhero, because when I was small girl I really loved superheroes, cartoons, films, and I was really involved in the story because I actually from my childhood remember all these feelings and my ideas and my dreams about to have some superpowers. So in this second book we continue to have the same problem which our main character Noah need to solve. They need to solve some problems which connect with the past. And I also love the past lines in books, when you can see and feel that you feel the connection of reality which you read with the past moments which you have in the book, which also can give you. I actually love the characters here. I love their relationships, their thoughts, their moments which they connect with each other. Of course we have some problems there because we have the bad heroes and the wonderful heroes who most of the time do something good for people in the city and try to solve the city from the bad guys. But in the story we have an idea, and it was interesting to think about this one, like, can reality live without superheroes? I mean reality in the book live without superheroes, or live just with the good superheroes without bad superheroes? I mean that in the story they try to make some injections to the bad guys and just to take away their powers and to make them just humans without any superpower. And could it be good also for city? Like, could the person without power be a normal person, or also continue to do some bad things but without powers? Could be some criminals or something. It was interesting theme, and I love that Stephanie Meyer just not give us like imaginal world with imagining situations which just so wonderful and have a lot of pluses for just the good superheroes. Also, I love continue the main character Noah because she continued to think about her a family, if we can say like this one, family, because they have family, they have relationships, they have superpowers, and they are together, and they have of course their plans how to take their wonderful things on the planet, because now they are not in a wonderful situations, not in wonderful feelings, because they are in a bed and they live now in a bad area in the city. So I just don't want to tell you a lot of, because I don't want to give you some spoilers, but I really love the story. I put it 4 stars, and I will continue to read the third one, because the third one is the last one, so I want to know what will be the end. The next story which I read, it was sci-fi, and it was Those Who Survive, Bulychev, and the story talks us about interesting thing, like in the future we have a planet, and in one time on this planet just crashed a spaceship with the people from the Earth, and they just can't understand how to survive because the spaceship is not working, it's broken, and they don't have some details which they need for fixing it and just going back to the planet. And they decided to live some time on this planet, on this new planet, to understand what is the planet, how it's going on there, what's wrong with this planet, and why nobody are there, just some strange animals, big insects, and so on. So it's an interesting planet which actually has not a lot of wonderful creatures there. I really love the idea of the author to put us in a moment of living people in a small village on a new planet, and people who live in this village, they are different. We have young and the old. Old people, they're not a lot of, but they live a lot of years on this planet, and these people from the spaceship, and they remember how to live on another planet, what pluses they had, what was the past life they had, and for them it's a wonderful thing to have a dream to come back to the planet. And every time, every period of time, they decided to make some group of people to go to the spaceship, to take some food, to take some clothes, to understand maybe something changed, to try to use the radio, and to send the message on the planet that they are alive, they're on the planet, and just waiting some help. Interesting story, a lot of wonderful atmospheric moments, a lot of feelings from the people. You can understand what they want, what they feel, what the bad things happened with them, how it's the dangerous thing to go to the spaceship, but people continue to do this one. So actually interesting sci-fi story which can tell you about how to survive on a planet which is not so friendly to the humans. It was really great. I put this story also 4 out of 5, and I actually didn't put 5 because I didn't like actually ending. I didn't believe in it, that it would be so easy and simple. I expected more dangerous moments which can happen with this one. So actually 4 stars, I think it's really great. And I will finish this video with a story which I read in another language. It was Andreas Gruber. I put this story 5 out of 5. This book was a 5th in the series about Martin Snyder. He is a detective, he's a profiler, and he is really not a comfortable character for the reader because he's so emotional, he's so gloomy, he's grumpy, he's not so wonderful person actually. And for me it was interesting to see how he was growing up in his emotional level from the first book to the 5th one. And this story was really cool because the idea was to tell us about the case which can happen with the people also in the past. I love thrillers which connect with the past, and in this moment it was interesting that in our time the lady came to the police and asking about Martin Snyder for working on one case, and she started to tell them that she will kill some count of people, some amount of people for something, and Martin Snyder need to understand for what and how she would do it, because she is in the police and she actually can't kill anybody because she's there. But people died, some crimes happened, something bad things happened, and it was really interesting to see the moments of these crimes. It was really interesting and unusual. The moments of these decisions, to making decisions of Martin Snyder, working of his group, because he worked not alone, he has some support team, and also to understand for what it was doing, why people did it, why all things which can happen with this past line was really interesting, because I really love moments which can happen with people in the past, and in the reality we can understand that they have a revenge, they have some other things which can happen with people in reality, but it connects with the past. So I just don't want to tell you a lot of about this one, because this story is really cool. 5 out of 5. It was the best book of December. It was really wonderful. So that's it. My December's finished, and just the 4 books which I read, but I really glad that my December was really cool. I didn't have bad books, I didn't have not interesting books. All 4 books were really interesting, cool, with a lot of things which I really love in stories, with a lot of thoughts which they give me for thinking, because actually some of the days I remember some moments from the stories or some themes, and continue to just making some brainstorming in my mind about what could be if. So I really like to do this one. So if you read all these stories or some of them, just let me know in the comments what actually did you like, what do you plan to read from these authors, have you read these authors, and what actually your favorite books which you read in December, because my favorite book was not in English, so it was really cool. Thanks for watching this video, and I will rate you recommendations on my comments. Just recommend me greatest books which you have read in December. Bye!